Hold on to your butts, kids, because this week Uncle Ben is taking you on a hellacious hybrid picked ride in the neighborhood of C. Well, hey there, children, and welcome to this week's installment of Weekend Wankshop. Here's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. I get requests from you guys all the time to do some more licks featuring hybrid picking, and for really good reason. It's a very damn useful technique. Whereas it used to be sort of viewed as a country guitar player only technique, it seems like more and more guys are starting to adapt it into the rock, metal, and fusion playing. One of the ways I implement hybrid picking into my own playing is to use it to help me with string skipping licks, or quickly going back and forth between a low string and a high string. Rather than making my pick dart all over the place to do that, I'll just use my middle finger instead. This is a lick that's based out of the C minor blues scale that I made up for you guys to show you how I implement some of those string skipping techniques in with my hybrid picking. But before we get into it, let's hear it again at step dance speed. If you go to my Instagram page and get the tab for the lick, be sure to watch for all the notes that are going to be circled in red. Those will indicate which ones are being hybrid picked with the middle finger. You could just replace those with an upstroke if you want a really brutal picking workout, or you could use your ring finger instead, but myself, I like to grab those circled red notes with my middle finger. Alright, meow, so this takes place in the C minor blues scale. This would sound really great over a C minor chord. Over anything funky or bluesy, you could even sneak this into like a rock or metal context and it would sound pretty sick. I'm starting off by playing the 8th fret G here with a downstroke, the 10th fret G with an upstroke, and then I'm hammering on the 11th fret G with my 4th finger. So you got down, up, hammer on. After this, I'm going to play the 8th fret on the B string with my middle finger, over here in my right hand that is. So I'm plucking that guy. Again, that's an area where my pick normally would be jumping like that, back and forth between the strings. But instead, I'll just use this one finger over here to grab that single note. After that, walk back down the G string like this. You're going to downstroke that 11th G, upstroke the 10th G, pull off to the 8th G. Then what you're going to do is to play a downstroke here on the 10th fret D string. So all together, that's going to go hammer, hybrid, pull off, like that. The next lick is the exact same thing, just replace the 8th fret B string note with the 8th fret high E string. Otherwise it's completely the same, you're just swapping out one note. So it's going to sound like this. So again, this is one of those areas where, if I'm not using the hybrid picking, my pick is having to go from the G to the E string and then back to the G, leaping over that B string twice there, kind of a high risk maneuver, 2 times in really fast succession. Instead of doing that, I'll just do the hybrid picking instead. That way the pick can just stay centered right here on the G string. See how the pick never has to leave the G string like that. So that's, again, one of the main ways I implement hybrid picking into my playing. So far you've got the one that had the B string and the one that had the E string. That leads us to the last part of the lick. Now for this, what we're doing here is we're starting off on the 8th fret G string, 10th fret G, hammering on to 8, just like how you led up to the other licks there. Hybrid picking the 8th fret B. Again, it saves my pick a trip, you know what I mean? Just get this guy on there right away. Next on the B string here, you're going to play 11, 10, pull off to 8. So now you got, so you kind of walked up the G, got onto the B string, and then walked down the B. After this, you're going to play the 11th fret G, kind of your flat 5 blues scale note, back to that hybrid picked 8th fret B string, and then we're going to go back to the G right here. We're going to play 11, 10, pulling off to 8, 10, pulling off to 8 again. So that was... And then lastly, ending on the D string here, we're going to play 10, 8, 10. That puts us landing on C, the root note of the scale. So that entire last section was So that means all together we've got the B string lick, the E string, then the walky, uppy, downy part. I'll play the lick a few times in a row here to give you guys a really good perspective on how that middle finger is getting through all these string skips. Again, it's to avoid unnecessary jumping with the pick. Notice how, especially on the first couple licks here, how the pick will just stay very stationary right around the G string zone and never really leave that area. It makes playing these kind of licks a lot easier. So there you go, guys, a cool lick that'll get you hybrid picking like the dickens. Like I said earlier, it's a technique that's not just for hillbilly pieces of shit like me anymore. It's something that you can implement into all of your rock and metal and fusion playing. Just start basically trying to take whatever lick it is that you're doing and replace what would be a string changing upstroke, you know, and replace that with your middle finger. I mean, one of the ways that I got really acclimated to doing hybrid picking, in addition to learning like every Mastodon song, is to basically take any lick it is that I was playing and replace an upstroke with my middle finger. That's one of the ways that you can really get this stuff very much implemented and natural into your playing. Take whatever it is you're playing, replace the upstroke with your middle finger instead. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel to get all the latest goodies that I'll upload week by week here. Also, if you want to follow my antics and shenanigans on Instagram and Twitter, you can do that by looking up at BenEllerGuitars. While you're on that internet machine, do me a big favor and go like my new Facebook fan page over at facebook.com/Uncle Ben Eller. Also, if you're interested in booking some one-on-one Skype lessons with me so we can talk about theory and technique and all that stuff, be sure to drop me an email, BenEllerGuitars@gmail.com. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for another sick lick next week. Cheers.